Yo, what's up? Today I will talk about supercharger nerf. Okay, so for you guys who don't know, Tesla, they've been restricting supercharger speed if you supercharge or DC fast charge too much. Okay, so I have some examples here. I have experienced this firsthand. So my previous car was a Tesla Model X. I drove it for over 200,000 kilometers. I had one battery replacement because of some issues. And I saw it, the supercharger, well, I call it supercharger nerf. So with the first battery, after driving it for not too long, about a year or so, I noticed that it charged slower than expected. And then I kind of just lived with it. I thought it was a bug or something. And then eventually there was this problem with the car after 116,000 kilometers. I got a new battery and magically I was getting 118 kilowatt again for a while. And then after I drove 40,000 kilometers, the nerf kicked in again. And then it was restricted to 95 kilowatts. So if you do the math, by the way, 40,000 kilometers, by the way, I should tell you that I drove it with the trailers. I drove a lot and with high consumption, with lots of supercharging. That's why it kicked in so early. For most people, you know, it's not going to happen after 40,000 kilometers. It will most likely happen after 150 to 200,000 kilometers if you mostly charge at home and your commute. But you know, my driving style was completely different than most people. So, you know, don't look at my case and think that's the common case. It's not at all. But if I drove 40,000 kilometers with the high consumption I had, it will translate to 12,800 kilowatt hours DC fast charge. And then I know from a history, I looked into the BMS before on the Model X, that about 70 to 80% of that charging is done on DC. So it actually means that about 10,000 kilowatt hours was DC fast charge before it kicked in. And then my friend who has a Model S75D, he also had a problem. Wait, was it him or was it a friend of him? I don't know, but a message from Tesla about this. He also had a reduced speed problem, and then Tesla told him that the BMS, the battery management system, will derate, it means slowing down the speed. It starts at 2,625 kilowatt hours, and then the derating hits the rock bottom at 13,125 kilowatt hours. That means at that point it will be slow, you know, and then once it hits the limit, then there's nothing you can do about it. There's no way to software unlock it unless you get a new battery, because this follows the battery, it doesn't follow the car. And again, urban myth, it doesn't follow the account. And people who think that if you supercharge a lot near your home, then Tesla will restrict your speed. No, that is again an urban myth. That is not true. It's related to the battery itself. And we have another case here where classic 85 packs, they have been getting nerfs, just software updates that suddenly restricts the supercharging speed. You know, they were used to get 110, 118 kilowatts for the longest time, and then last year we saw that people were suddenly getting only 70 to 50 kilowatts. It was going so ridiculously slow that many owners with these old packs, they were upset, and you know, they don't want to go on Europe road trips anymore because it takes so damn long to supercharge. So we have seen now many cases of in various batteries from Tesla that they nerfed the speed. And what about the Model 3? Someone told me, there's a rumor, I don't know, I haven't confirmed it yet, but that some Model 3s in US with 90,000 kilometers on the odometer and have charged 20,000 kilowatt hours. Yeah, if you do the math, 20,000 kilowatt hours over 90,000 kilometers, that's 222 watt hour per kilometer. That means that they have only supercharged or DC fast charge. They haven't done any AC charging at home or whatever. And they have been getting the nerf. And they can only get 95 kilowatt max. Again, this is a rumor only. And again, I don't know if these guys, they just, you know, it just happened to be winter, that they, you know, we don't know yet. That's the thing, is that we don't know if this is a Colgate case or if it's actually supercharger nerf. So hopefully we can see, well, or we will see if there will be other cases of this, of supercharger speed reduction in Model 3. So and I mean, is it true? You know, can we trust these observations, these rumors? Again, I don't know, it's just speculations, but based on what I've told you about Model S and X and the classic 85 packs that also get nerfed, then it is actually plausible that the Model 3 will also get a speed nerf. It seems like almost like a trick, you know, from Tesla, that when they come up with a new model, Model 3, back in the days with the Model S 85, it charged at 120 kilowatt, right? Awesome, kicks ass. And then once the car is 6 to 8 years old, then they reduce the speed. Same with the Model X and the newer cars and the Model 3. Okay, awesome, it charges at 250 kilowatt. Eventually one day you might be stuck with only 95 kilowatt. Now 95 kilowatt is not the worst deal for Model 3, because Model 3 is still very efficient and we don't know what the charging curve will look like. Hopefully, even if it's restricted to 95 kilowatts, hopefully it can maintain 95 kilowatt to, let's say, 70%. And that will actually be still pretty fast. And then, yeah, so I don't know, really, I don't know. But what about other car brands? Do they also have this problem? Well, I don't know. The closest case I have is the Ioniq I borrowed for the 1000 kilometer challenge. There's a classic 28 kilowatt Ioniq. That one had 92,000 kilometers on the odometer. And when I did the 1000 kilometer challenge, I charged on Ionity. The chargers were supposed to deliver, you know, 350 kilowatts. So the limitation was not in the charger, it was in the car. And the car was consistently charging at around 60 to 65 kilowatt. I never saw 69 kilowatt that I received with a press car that was brand spanking new. So already here we could see cases where an Ioniq is getting a little bit of speed nerf, but maybe not a sudden drop, but slowly losing 5 kilowatts or 10 kilowatt over time. And as for other cars like e-trons, you know, probably e-trons will also super fast charge a lot. They are still not old enough so we can see any cases yet. So we have to wait a few years. And as for Leafs, they are getting old now, the first generation Leaf, but I don't know. I guess I could borrow an old Leaf and try to see, but I had to borrow one that has done maybe some fast charging or whatever, see how fast it charges compared to what it should be when it's brand spanking new. But we don't know yet if other car brands are getting this. But why is Tesla relimiting this? I don't know, because Tesla has one of the most advanced battery management system and battery design with active cooling, liquid cooling, battery heater, all that good shit, you know. Tesla are the ones who takes the best care of the battery in the EV industry. So we will have to see then. And then what about this car, MC Hammer? So let's take a look now. Okay, so MC Hammer is a Tesla Model 3 long-range performance. And if you look here, DC charge total is 7,734. That's a lot of DC fast charging, but I also fortunately have a lot of AC home charging. So the portion of DC here is not as great as on the Model X. So it's, how much is this? About 66% or something? It's still pretty high. Most people, they will probably have, the AC part will be bigger than DC. It's just that I do all these tests. I drive to Germany and do all the speed tests or whatever, you know, long trips. So that's why my DC part is so high. But it means that if the rumors are true, then I will hit 20,000 kilowatt hours in about 1.5 years, maybe 2 years, because I will try to be a little bit careful from now on. And then what am I going to do then? What's going to happen then? Well, if it's true, then I will get only 95 kilowatt. And that means that I can't do 1,000 kilometer challenge with this car. You know, it's not good for that. It will still be okay for fast trips, long trips, like I mentioned, because the car is so efficient and all that. But if there will be a 100 kilowatt hour Model 3 coming out, then I will probably consider buying that one, because the way I test, again, you know, so you might be thinking, oh, but that means that after 2.5 years your Model 3 is crap. No, it's not, because you don't drive like I do. I drive a lot, I supercharge a lot, I do all this stuff. For most people, if this is true, then it will occur after, let's say, 5 to 7 years of normal driving. But that is if you take good care of the battery. Yes, I'll come back to that also. So yeah, what I'm gonna do then, I might buy, if Tesla comes out with a 100 kilowatt hour Model 3, then I will strongly consider it. And then by the time this car is nerfed, if it happens, then Roadster might be coming out, and then I will use the Roadster for more stuff, you know. And then about Cybertruck, okay, I might buy the Cybertruck, I'm not sure yet, but again, yeah. So we will see what happens in the future. So, you know, what should you do then if you have a Model 3 and you're afraid of what's going to happen now with your car? If this is true, again, we always have to assume that it could be like this or it could not be like this. My advice to you is to avoid DC fast charging if you can. If you're going on a holiday trip with your family, then just DC fast charge. Yes, just go for it. But, you know, if you're buying a Tesla Model 3, just so you can, because there is free charging at Lidl outside your home or whatever. If you have, especially I've seen it, you know, people who buy a Tesla because there is free charging near your home, or you just happen to live close to a supercharger. I don't recommend it, because supercharging should be done for long trips, and you will have to waste time waiting at the supercharger. You know, it becomes cumbersome after a while. It's way better to just plug in at your home, done with it. And like you've seen, you know, you will take better care of the battery if you don't DC fast charge a lot. So my recommendation, if you have, if you want to buy a Tesla or any other EV, of course, and if you want to only base it on fast charging, then I don't recommend it. If, on the other hand, you have street parking with AC and you can get, you know, charging there, then that's more viable option. And okay, another thing is that I have made a video in the past about, you know, setting charge limit to 60%, because then you take better care of the battery, you reduce the degradation of the battery. But based on recent info now, I might go higher, so I might go for 70% nowadays, because think about it, if you charge at 60% and suddenly something happens and then you need to drive, then you might not have enough juice, and then you have to DC fast charge so you get enough. So that kind of defeats the purpose, you know, the degradation and all that. So it depends on each case. If you have a very predictable driving habit, then you can still go with 60, 70%, whatever. But if you have stuff that happens and you might have to drive far suddenly, then I would suggest to actually go to 80 to 90%, just to be sure that to reduce the amount of DC fast charging you have to do, okay, pretty much. And as for, you know, longer trips, let's say holiday trips, in the past, when I, you know, go to Paris, I would just supercharge enough, and then I don't have to care about charging inside the Paris, for example. But now I will try to find a hotel with AC. I've been trying to do that actually in the past also. Try to find a hotel with destination charger. It's actually way more convenient, because then you don't have to waste time charging at the supercharger before going to the hotel, and so on. And also, if you're staying around Paris, for example, then you don't have to visit the supercharger around Paris. You can just, you know, fast charge at the, AC charge at the hotel, and that's it. And also for me, this is again a special case. When I'm driving with this car and I sleep in the car, I also in the past, I would just supercharge unto 90%, and then I would sleep in the car unplugged, maybe some other place, because it could usually be noisy near a supercharger. And then in the morning, I might go back to the supercharger and charge up again. But from now on, I will try to AC charge more. Okay? I'm not going to go like full hysterical and then, no, I will not DC fast charge. I will drive to Lapland with only AC charging. No, I will still DC fast charge. It's almost like, you know, sometimes you have to take, you have to drink a Red Bull or something. It will slowly kill you, but if you limit the amount of Red Bull, the supercharging is almost like Red Bull, you know, it gives you wings. But just try to limit it, and then use some AC, have some salad, and then, you know, that's probably better. So we will see then. But yeah, so again, we have to see. I'm also curious to see more cases coming in US, if this is true or not. Or again, if you guys actually know someone who has this nerve, please tell me know in the comment section. I want to know more about this. So I think that's going to be it for now. Yes, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, thank you for watching, and talk to you later.